Join us every Sunday for an episode of the Digital Business Forum
at 2 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. MST, 5 p.m. EST, and 10 p.m. GMT.
This forum will feature successful, experienced digital business owners with inspiring information to help you make that informed decision about starting your own digital business. By starting your own online business, you will have more free time to take control of your life, create generational wealth, retire early, and make money from anywhere in the world with just your laptop, phone, and internet. If this resonates with you, don't miss this Sunday. Digital Business Forum. Be informed, be inspired.
Yes, don't miss this Sunday, next Sunday, and the other Sunday. The Digital Business Forum. My name is David. Welcome to yet another episode. Yes, we're here with Dorothy tonight, and we have a very interesting individual to share with you today. Okay, I'll go right ahead and introduce myself very briefly for those that are watching us for the very first time. I'm here in the US as a digital business entrepreneur and also an advisor on cybersecurity. But like we do every Sunday, we come here to inspire you on how to start your own digital business, on how to leverage digital technologies in this digital era so you can make a living and live life on your own terms. My co-host and guest tonight, Dorothy, I would like you to go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll move on from there. Thank you.
All right, thank you, David. If it's your first time to see me, my name is Dorothy Nakalema from Uganda. Currently a proud digital business coach and an entrepreneur, a mom. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
All right, Dorothy. That was brief and precise. So for those that have known Dorothy, or for those that are frequent here on this space, you know that we host this show and we keep bringing successful individuals that have made it in the digital space, people that are leveraging digital technologies and are living life on their own terms. And the reason we do that, is to encourage you to borrow a leaf or take advantage of what's going on. But you know what? This time around, we thought of it and said, we do have our own people that are successful as well, okay? And we said, what better time than to bring one of us, Dorothy, okay? She's been doing this for 3 years. And what better time to bring her on as a guest to share her journey in this digital business so that we can learn a thing or two, you know, and have somebody out there pick a leaf or even join the revolution and try something digital. Okay, so Dorothy, you are welcome. And I do have a starter for you, you know, just to kind of usher you in to share what you have for us today. So considering that you had no prior experience in digital businesses, because why I'm going straight on is because if you've been following, you'll realize that Dorothy's background in business or in work here is so elaborate in so many videos. So I would like this time round, for purposes of redeeming time, because it's a very long story, to cut out and go into the 3 years, of you doing this digital business. And that's why I'm taking you straight to the first days, you know, the discovery days of this digital space. So considering that you had no prior digital business experience, what was it like establishing yourself in this digital space? Dorothy?
To be honest, David, 3 years it has been a journey. First and foremost, I started the digital business. I didn't have experience when it comes to digital because I had no background when it comes to technology or running a business online. But if you're not like personally, I don't want to settle for less. So it means I had to go out to do extraordinarily and make my own research while entering the new venture. And I think that was about 2019. Sorry, that was about 2022. 2022, I always tell people that I started my business in 2022, but to launch it officially, it was 2023, January 14th. But for me to, go into the business, doing my research and everything, it was 2022, July. But launching it officially, it was 2023, Jan. So on my journey, I had already started some other businesses, but still they were not yielding or they were not giving me the results I wanted. And I didn't give up. I kept on searching till I landed on this one. And considering for me to proceed with this business we are talking about, it's because I had a coach. From day one, I was assigned with a coach and a mentor. And after paying my 149, actually, most people think once you pay the 149, you started. Unfortunately, no, you haven't. It's just for your due diligence and make your own informed decision to see if it's an opportunity for you. Basically, sometimes I always call it like to evaluate yourself if the business is a good fit for you. So for my case, I did the same thing. And what pushed me to keep going, and I ended up like officially doing this business only, it's because I was provided a coach and a mentor. They gave me training, unlock for you training, takes you step by step, like each and everything. It's there. There is community. That's amazing. Every Wednesday, 5 p.m., we always meet as business owners, entrepreneurs. That means it's not that you are focusing. When I talk about entrepreneurs, it means you create more streams of income. So it's not that specifically you need to be in one business or you need to do this. So these are the people like have been in different fields. Some of them have those big qualifications and they are sharing knowledge with us. So that was a very big key for me because I'm an open-minded person, and even back home, I worked as a nurse, as all of you people have been following us. But the reason why I even went into safety and environment officer, it's because I didn't want to, I didn't like that. I didn't like whereby I'm just an office and, I'm not associating with people. When you're in field, there's a lot of information. When you're communicating to different types of people, different, thinking and everything, the mindset. So when I landed on that, I'm like, okay, this is what I've been praying God for. And then the other thing was when I started, and they gave me a mentor. A mentor is for life. In this business, you can be a coach, but then if you have a coach and a mentor, your coach, once you become a coach, your coach is no longer your coach now, because now you're grown up, you're a grown up child. So you have to take care of yourself. But when it comes to the mentor, that is a person who is guiding you. Till today, I'm a coach, but still I have my mentor, right? So those are my main biggest reason why I picked this business out of most of them. And on my first year, as I mentioned, that I started the business in 2022, July, but I launched it in January 2023, officially launching it for me to start it. And these are my reasons as to why it took me almost those. As you all know, I'm not gonna go back to my, personal journey to land on this business. But this is where I had 2 jobs. And on top of that, I'm a mother. By that time, I was alone, having these 2 jobs, coming back late. You need to go through the training. And the best part of it, the training was video-based training. So you can do it on your own pace. Actually, I remember to ask my coach when they unlocked my training, do I have a deadline? And then my coach was like, come on, you're your own boss. Take your time, get your own time, make sure you do your training. So create your time. Nobody's gonna pressurize you, oh, Dorothy, you need to do this. Dorothy, you need to do it. It's you. You're the one, you need to come out of your comfort zone. You want to be successful. There is no successful person who is in comfort zone. So make sure, however busy you are, you create that time for yourself. The way you create it for your own employer, it's the same way you need to create it for yourself to build your legacy. So it took me that long. I always say my training actually took me closely to 2 months. And you're going to find other people in the community telling you it took them 2 weeks. David is in IT. I think he knew is everything. So, and of course, I had some struggles when it comes to the training. But the most important thing is that I had a backup. I had somebody who is holding my hand. That is my mentor. That is my coach. And then to cut the story short, I studied it, and after my training, that is when I started my real business. However, I finished my training for 2 months, unfortunately, because I was very busy. I called myself that I was very busy, but unfortunately, my paycheck wasn't busy. It was just constant, but I don't have time for myself. And then one time I'm like, I need to do this now. So I started it. I did what I was supposed to do, like any other business out there. There's no business you're gonna invest in and you see it, you expect to get results. Of course, as a business owner in our community, there's a 20% what you need to do. There is running ads, there is a lot of things in there, but as long as you're building your own legacy, it's worth it. So to cut the story short, when I started it, I was like, okay, now I started to run my ads. For those who know me, if it is not your first time, for those who, if you have ever seen my first ad, you can really tell the look. And for today, right? So I started my ad. I started to get clients like any other business. Then clients started to come in. Clients started to come in, and my business started to grow gradually. I'm not going to tell you that I started to make the huge money I'm making today, my first or second month or third month. No, it wasn't like that. It's like any other business. I always tell people, when it comes to the business, the real business, I'm not talking about the business whereby you started today, the next 3-4 years it collapsed. No, but the real business, there is always that gradual growth. So mine, it was growing gradually. And I think that is the main big reason, David, as to why I considered it as a business I should, give all my life to.
Wow, thank you, Dorothy. Thank you so much. And while you were at it, I picked a few elements of your submission. You said you went through an evaluation phase, you know. I believe you said you paid 149 US dollars to do a full due diligence and learn about the strategies, the roadmap, to do that the due diligence in to really establish whether this is something that's worth doing, and choose to move on or get your refund, right?
Yes.
And I think that's very important when people hear of a digital business, an opportunity. Many times we hear these opportunities from friends, family, and at that time they're pretty much trying to woo you into doing the business. Many times they don't necessarily give you an opportunity to do any kind of research. They kind of show up as I know it, or kind of mentality, with that kind of a mentality. So they'll explain to you what it is, and you think you've kind of had it all. But if it doesn't have a system, for me, this is what I say: if it's a business that doesn't have a system for you to dig and discover it for yourself, understand how it works, it leaves a lot to question.
Yeah. I think, David, to add on that, if you're starting up a business and you don't have control of your earnings, I don't think it's a business at the end of the day. Because when it comes to our business, doing a due diligence, it is not something small. I already said that once you do a due diligence, it's not that you're wasting your time, you're saving your money. Because a lot of people are starting up businesses without doing due diligence, paying a consultation fee, paying, somebody who is an expert to go and dig deep for you if you can't do it yourself. If the business you are going to start, it's about, let me say, 50,000 USD. It means if you pay a consultant or an expert, even if $1,000, even if $500, trust me, if it is not a real business, that consultant or expert will definitely tell you, do not waste your money. Definitely, you did not waste your time. You saved your money. You saved your 50,000, they just took 500. So to me, if you start a business, make sure you have the control of your earnings. If you don't have control on how you can, earn this money, if you earn it, is it coming to you or is it going to somebody else first and then it comes to you? So you need to make sure that whatever business you're starting, your earnings, do you have control of your earnings? And on these earnings, what do you have to do to make this money? Because if you're the one that driving, if you're in the driver's seat, you know how to earn this money. Then, of course, when you earn it, definitely you have control of it because it is coming to you because you know how to make it. So for me, when I was doing my due diligence and evaluation of the business, I looked into that a lot because at the end of the day, if you are to start a business, you're starting it for yourself. You're not starting it for your consultant, for your coach, for your mentor, for your lawyer, whatever consultants you go through, whatever experts you pay and have some information from them. You're not starting it for them. You're starting it for yourself. So you need to make sure that you will have control of each and everything in the business you're going to do.
And exactly, Dorothy, at that point, I'd like to ask you a follow-up question. What were the challenges you met during the establishment of your digital business? So during this period of time, what kind of challenges did you meet?
Of the 3 years?
Yes, during the first phase of your setup.
Okay. The first phase of my setup, I could say in the beginning it was time, but then I realized that all of us, we have 24 hours a day, right? A person who makes $1,000 in just one day, a person who makes $1,000 in just 1 hour, a person who makes $1,000 in just 1 minute, we all have 24 days. We all have 24 hours. So in the beginning, the challenge, I thought that I was very busy because of the 2 jobs I had and the little one. And then I thought that I don't have time. So, but to put that aside, I just sat down and worked on my mindset. And then thank God that I won it. So, and the other challenge was like, as a person who wasn't in the digital, field, I've never been there. For me, when people talk about digital, when people talk about online things like that, in the beginning, I didn't know that even people who are working digital, who are using digital technologies or platforms, they're making money. Like I thought that it was about people having fun. Like I didn't know that there is a secret. But all these platforms, I realized that there is business part of it. If it's Facebook, it has its own business part. If it's Instagram, if it is YouTube, TikTok, all the platforms, they have the business side. So while you're the other side seeing your nonsense, the algorithm for business people, they will see business things. I'm like, wow. So when I did all this research, and I'm like, how are these all the entrepreneurs I know, all the rich people we know? I realized that they're all running their businesses digital. I realized that even if it's an iPhone, you see they're running ads. You find them on YouTube, you find them on Facebook. Like you're seeing a lot of even Facebook. You know that Facebook is still running ads. Have you ever realized that?
Facebook
So
advertising on other platforms.
on another platform on TikTok, can you imagine? So I'm like, okay. So I when I started it, I'm like, okay, whatever challenge I'm going to meet, I have a training, I have a coach, I have a mentor, I'm in for it. But then it's not all about my coach and my mentor and the training, it's about my mindset too. I remember the first challenge I faced, it was around the pixel. I don't know for those people who are running, have ever, ran business online, you know what pixel is. So, but because I was dodging, I'm like, I'm very busy. I'll pay somebody and help me fix this. You people, there's somebody I called. There's somebody I called, to be honest. Like he was an expert, but the thing is, whatever he was fixing, later on I realized that it was in my training. I didn't have to pay that person, but it's because that my mind was not concentrated. As we immigrants, you have responsibilities back home, you have these two jobs, you are in the new environment, you're a mother, you have a lot of on your head, you're going through depression. So sometimes you're not concentrating something easy, you're seeing it as something very difficult, you're seeing it like you don't have time. What is on your head? That what was on my head by that time, it was just bills, playing around with cards. Okay, this one, it's the due date is this. Okay, let me, it's like I wasn't concentrating on my training. And when it comes to challenges, sometimes I sit down, I feel like it was me. There were no challenges when it comes to the business or the training itself when I was beginning, like my beginning stages. But then later on my journey, I realized the biggest challenge I face currently is the mindset of the clients, of the people are reaching out to me. Because most people, they are coming with a employee mindset. It means you need to first educate them what is owning a business it means before they can even go into the business. Unfortunately, they still have the same challenge I had, that I have no time, or I need to watch the pre-coaching videos for 3 hours. So I think currently as a coach, that is a challenge I have currently, and that's what I'm working on. And then the other thing is, when you're running a digital business, you're going to find a lot of challenges, by the way, but it's your mindset. And what I liked on digital business is like you have a switch to turn on and to switch off. Like there's a reason as to why all the media platforms, all the online platforms, even your phone, it has that button to block, delete. So that's the only thing I like. I could say that whatever challenges, there's a lot of negativity when it comes to online, right? And unfortunately, our fellow immigrants, mostly Africans, because when you reach out to, for example, like the Philippines, they're not fighting themselves like we Africans, right? So there is that biggest challenge that you can run an ad and somebody comment on it negatively. Before, it was bothering me a lot. Currently, I have, you need to understand how to own you can create stress, and you can avoid stress. With the digital, you just block, delete, and move on. So that was one of the challenges before, but currently there's a solution. So if you are, well, I'm not gonna say that, okay, it's every day, it's it's a vibe day. Some days are not. Some days are emotional. Some days are emotional because of the what you went through, and you're seeing that there's other fellow, your fellow immigrants or your fellow Africans going through it. And the reason as to why I even focus a lot of African immigrants, it's because I have an experience. I've ever been there. So I believe when it actually, David, my success is a lot to even like to remember my challenges. But another challenge I remember, I think, was it last year or the beginning of this year? I don't even remember exactly. There was somebody, I don't know who was that person, but they had to, my website, they had to report it to Facebook that it is a scam. I don't know how this person came out with that, but then Facebook had to take off each and everything down. They had to take all my content down. They had to block me, not even to run ads while they're doing their due diligence. Of course, it is a challenge to a person who is running a digital business. You're leveraging on these platforms, right? So good enough, I had a backup. I have the backup plan. So if you're running business, of course, an entrepreneur, it's not that your income is ABC. You need to get, a backup plan if this happens. What so in our training already, they had already prepared us. They prepare us like, okay, you might face this, you might face this, you might face this, you might face this, but here is the solution. So I already had a backup plan. Of course, I just switched all my ads and switched it to my backup plan platform. So my business went on, and then I had to deal with Facebook. So Facebook, they did their due diligence, I think, for about closely to 2 weeks. So while communicating to them with their experts and some of my, my team, they used to communicate and everything. So eventually they had to bring my my website back, and they had to put back all my content. So I think that was the biggest one. I'd say that it was the biggest challenge to me. So everybody who's running a digital business or planning to do digital, make sure you have a backup plan. If you're like running a real business, however much somebody puts some scammy thing on your website, report it or do it. If it's real, they cannot, because by that time I've been running with Facebook. By the time they did that, running ads with them for over 2 years. So they couldn't just take me away like that. I'm the customer, right? I'm their customer. So they can't just, push me away just like that. They had to make sure that the information they are giving them, it's true. So they had to do their due diligence again for the second time, because you can't run ads with them without doing, the thorough checkup and the due diligence to see if it's a legit business. Of course, they knew that it was, but then somebody puts reports, then they need to look into deep, So yeah, and my website was back up and running, so I don't think even they can touch on it now. So probably that was some of the challenges, but currently I already said that challenges, you don't have to fear them, because that is the road for your success.
Thank you so much for that submission, Dorothy. Yeah, the key takeaway points here are digital businesses can face challenges the same way ordinary or traditional businesses get challenges. Okay, with traditional businesses, obviously we know your networks could be hacked. You could lose data. You could lose, you could lose intellectual property and all sorts of things, and it can damage. You could have lawsuits. You could have all types of things for breaches. But the same way we tell organizations, as we secure their systems, to have some kind of data backup and disaster recovery plan. Okay. The key takeaway here is that running a digital business, you face the same kind of threats as well.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's paramount that you create some kind of backup and disaster recovery plan. So have a backup to your pages, some kind of a backup to your website, or have some kind of system or process that in the event of a disruption, these are the steps to take so you can, get back into what you do best, do business in the shortest possible time. Okay. I know it's a disruption in business.
It is.
But it's something you can, I can't say avoid, but it's something that you can overcome if you have some kind of a plan. And in which case, for most of the people that I know that are doing digital business, in the first months of you setting up, it's a requirement that you set up a backup.
Keep it, yeah.
It's a requirement that you set up a backup, backups to your platforms.
Yeah, because again, actually, the more you grow, is the more enemies you get. It's the more, so the more you grow, just not income wise, the more you grow your income, you're going to get a lot of enemies, not from nowhere. Some you might be knowing them, some you might be knowing them. So expect that on your journey, even if it's not digital. I think that's normal.
I think, and also what happens is that you attract people to yourself. When you make money or when you have something that is interesting, you become an attraction of sorts, because there are people out there that are just ready to grab. Okay, they don't want to work it the way you're working it. They want an easy way in. So they want to hack your account so they can extract some money from you, in a way of bringing it back, or some kind of thing. Ransom. So you hear of ransomware, or you hear of ransoms. People lose websites, and then they have to pay so much money to get them back. Yeah. So that's what happens, and it's a big threat also in these digital places. Dorothy, I do have something that I would like to interest you with. So when did you realize that this business can now fully sustain your lifestyle? Because you are doing traditional business. You were doing 8 to 5, working your 2 jobs. And then you started a digital business. I know that during your first year, it was a juggle between those jobs and finding time to do your training and set up. But I also know that at some point, you quit all those jobs, which you normally say you fired your bosses, and focused entirely on doing digital business. So when did you realize that this can now fully sustain you? And at what point was that?
Okay, so to be honest with you, I started to think about that the day I made 10,000 and above in this digital business. And I think that was my 7th month in the business by that time. I started to think about it. Though in the
daily, was that in a day or a month?
Come again?
The 10,000, was that in one day, week, 1
in
month?
1 month. No. In 1 month.
Oh, okay.
So it took me 7 months to see, for me to make 10,000 and above in 1 month. Like any other business, David, when you're starting up a business, it's not that you're gonna invest your money today and then the following day or following week or following month you're gonna get all the money you invested back, right? So for my case, my first month, guys, forgive me, this is almost 3 years ago. I think my first one was about 1,000 and something. My second one was about 2,000. I actually don't remember exactly, but if you're in our VIP group, go search for my name, Dorothy Nakalima. You will see me from the day I started, even my income while it was great. Actually, when you go there, it's real results from real people, because they're showing you how these people are coming, growing gradually. It's not that you're gonna come and boom it right away. That's not how it works with us. So my seventh month, sometimes yeah, I could, by the way, earn 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, even 8,000. But my first month where I said that, okay, this month I made 10,000. That was my seventh month in the business. So when I made that money, that's when I started to think of quitting. And actually in the beginning, I was just thinking of just quitting one job in the beginning. And the one I wanted to quit, it was the one of the anti-money laundering job, because we had some wrangles, as employees with one of my HR. Oh my God. That's why I'm happy when I said that I fired, because I read, you guys, I read that word. I guys, I'm firing you, because I was very happy, working, going, I don't know, but some of the corporates here in the United States, you can go to work. Sometimes you feel like you love your job, you love what you're doing, but the people you're working with, your fellow employees, they can make you quit, So to my case, I was just happy. I'm like, I'm gonna first cut off this. Actually, my seventh month, that's when I fired my first boss with the anti-money laundering analyst job. And then my second one for safety and environment officer, I did that within 9 months. So the period of 2 months, 7, 8, 9. So the September one, that's when I fired the safety and environment officer. So I didn't fire them all right away. And to do that, it's like, when I started to make this, 5 figures consistently, that's when I was like, why should I have to go to the regular job whereby I trade in a lot of time? But then this is where I felt like I'm cheating myself, because what I was doing, it is my own business and it is giving me some good results, closely even to what I was getting at my, daily job. I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna, quit the other one, because I remember by that time, my customers, my clients used to call me. I'm busy, I'm at my regular job. You can't sometimes pick the call on time. You can't reply them on time. You can, email them back if they want to talk to you. Oh my God. So I was like, no, Dorothy, I think it's high time now to, take your business on another level. Stop running it as a side hustle. Though I started it as a side hustle, because for me to go into the digital world, I was actually looking for $50 a day. That's funny. It was funny that I was looking for $50 a day. Just I thought like any other people out there. I thought that I will put my money there every day. I get my $50. So that's what I had in mind. I didn't know that there is real things that you need to work it. So, and my 9 month, that's when I realized, because I felt like it's not worth it. Here I'm building something for myself. And the other side of the employee of my employers, to be honest, they just have one decision to fire me. One decision for me to, when I don't have that job, because it's not mine. I don't have any decision. But here I have my own decision. I'm the one to say that I'm gonna wake up this time. I will set my like I will open my calendar this time for my clients to book. I will do this. So I have my decisions. I live life on my own terms. No setting alarms, no running here, no, you did not, finish this assignment, you did this, or you're late today, and then the daycare's extra fee. So I that's when I gave up, and I'm like, okay, I'm giving up on that. I'm concentrating here. So that was the period I did that.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing, Dorothy. Wow, that's very interesting. You made your 5 figures after, did you say 7 months?
Yeah, after 7 months. But
7 months.
just a second, David. To add on that, it's not that everybody that will come and make it in 7 months. Everybody, they have their own journey. Okay. And everybody, they have their own vision. They have their own why. You have to be with a strong why. You have to think beyond money. If you want to be successful, to be honest, you need to think beyond money. But if you're just thinking about money, 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 trust me, You need to think beyond that for you to make it, because at the end of the day, if you're just thinking about money, everybody can make money. You can open any other business. You can go and start up a shop, a saloon, a restaurant. You can still make money. But what is your main biggest why you're doing what you want to do? So at the end of the day, I think it helps a lot. So don't think that you will come, and some people, we have a person who made it, was it 6 months, I think 6 months, right, if I'm not mistaken. So you're going to find others telling you that their 5 figures they started to earn it at around within a year. So it's a journey, and everybody, they have their own journey, but it all depends on your own why. Back to you.
Oh, thank you. So Dorothy, what are the key factors that have contributed to your success during this 3-year journey?
Okay. The key factors. Whew. Anyways, first and foremost, that was the community. When it comes to the community, they were helpful. You're never alone. And the biggest thing, it was me to build generational wealth. So those factors, they let me like to push, even if I feel like today I have no vibes for doing a coaching call. Today I have no this. It's because I have something which is pushing me, So probably my biggest factors that have contributed to my success, first and foremost, were my kids, because I didn't want them to go through what exactly I went through. And to be honest, I feel like it's the same thing they will go through, because this is where go to school, have that degree, and then start to trading time for you to make money. So I need to pave the way so that even if they grow up, they'll see that, okay, mama has been doing this. However much we might not do whatever she was doing, but the thing is they need to create something for themselves. So for me, when it comes to generational wealth and the community I had, they were very, factors for me to like, they contributed a lot for me to be successful today.
All right. Thank you very much, Dorothy. Maybe just to bring it to perspective, the key elements in what makes people turn successful, I think, or is the why, the main reason why they do what they do. Because
yes,
you mentioned initially that you had to juggle many jobs and you weren't that available for your little ones. But eventually, when you started doing something digital, it gave you an opportunity and flexibility to to do things on your own terms. Okay. And I think when you mention your family, that your kids, and then the fact that you wanted to create generational wealth, it's not that easy when you're being employed.
Yeah,
okay?
It's not.
Because you're limited to how much you earn, and you can grow what we call the corporate ladder, from ground up, but you fight so many battles in between. Okay. And considering sometimes the working environment, the people that we work with, sometimes it's not easy to achieve that dream. Even if you would have loved to, sometimes the environment you have no control over the environment sometimes. And if you're not strong-willed, that can be a big hindrance as well.
It is.
And while doing something that you love, something that you have full control over, you kind of have that ability to push as much as you can, to continue doing, because where you're going and what your goals are. So what are the greatest takeaways for people, for those that are watching us from across the globe? What would you like to send them off with some nuggets or something that, they can say, okay, you know what? If I were to start something like this, if I were to do that, to change my life and, change the way I earn, what would you advise or send off our people with?
Okay. Thank you, David. Anyways, I could say that you need to first understand your situation and then understand the system you're working in, because let me talk. I'm going to talk to immigrants, right? Is it okay? Because, okay, I'm an immigrant. That's why I already said that, like, at least I have some experience on that. And the reason why I said that you need to look, you need to first identify yourself and where are you exactly, right? And the second thing, you need to understand the system you're in. It doesn't matter, are you in the UK, are you in German, are you in US, are you in Canada, France, Australia, wherever you are in. So you just to make sure that you understand yourself, define yourself first, and then understand the system you are in. Because mostly immigrants, to be honest, some of us, we come into these countries at night. Some of us, we come midday, maybe afternoon, some of us, some of them, they are coming in the morning, So for those who are coming in the morning, those are the little ones who are born here. If you're born here, you are into this country, you came in the morning, brought the light. So you will get to understand the system because this is where you are born and you grew in that system. You have the education of their system, blah, 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 and all of that. However, still they need your guidance. But if you are not educated on how to guide them on their way, still they might come into the same trap you're in. So those are the people coming in the morning. They have high chance, like it's a high chance for them to be, successful if you work on them. And then these ones for afternoon. Afternoon, these are the people who come like the teen, like they're 16, 17, 12, 10, 20, even I think 21. Those kind of people, when they come here, still they have a chance, but with the guidance still, because they might come into the same trap like you who came at night. So people who came at night, that's why I say define yourself first and then understand the system. So when it comes for those who come in at night, people who come at night, including me, I came at night. If you come into, these countries, you left your home country and you come into these countries, and those people who came here at night, those are the people who are like, let me say, you left responsibilities back home. You are maybe in your late 20s, early 30s. You're starting a new life, but almost half of your age, you spent it back home. So I'm giving an example. If you're 30 years, right? You came into United States at 30 years. It doesn't matter what qualifications you have. Sometimes here, some of them are not working. It means you have to go back to school. Everybody's going to tell you nothing. Well and good. It's a good paying, it's a good paying opportunity. Go for your nursing, like, let me say 4 years or 5 years. So 30 years, let's say 35 years. Now you're graduating to start working, right? Almost half of your age, it shows in the system, it shows that you have not been working. How many years you remained with to clock your retirement? They retired 67, right, David?
60, from about 62, that's early retirement, okay. But otherwise 65.
All right, okay, let's say 65, okay? Then you're already 35, so you're remaining with 30 years for you to retire. But that is when you start to work. Mind you, you're not setting up a business. You're starting to build somebody's legacy, which is okay, according to what your goals are. But then remember that once you clock your retirement age, that's why some people, they were living some good life, the active income, with very good life, you know, affording everything, even taking kids to private schools. But once it clocks to retirement, whereby even your retirement package cannot pay your mortgage, because it's these 30 years they are calculating. Whatever you have been working into their country, that is what they're going to calculate. And then you end up, you've been not investing, you've been not maybe saving, but at the end of the day, you thought that, okay, I have my mortgage. You think that you invested in something, but then this is where it might go without you having it in your hands, because at the end of the day, technically, mortgage you're renting from the bank, right? Until you pay it off, that's when it becomes yours. So along the way, if you fail, then what investment do you have at the end of the day? So the advice I can tell that, let them first understand, define themselves. Once you're done to define yourself, then understand the system. What system are you working in? Is it favoring employees a lot? Is it favoring employers? If it's favoring self-employed, business owner. So if it does favoring those kind of people, you know, if it does favoring those kind of people, then you look for the ways so that you can go where it favors. Because we all know these systems, they are not forgiving. Trust me. First and foremost, there is no shortcut. They are not forgiving. So it's up to you to come on the drawing board, get your vision board ready. If you don't have a vision board, by the way, that's another topic. Let me even just, because when we start to talk about that, we're gonna be here forever. But you need to put all your goals and your vision board down, and then calculate. Actually, do you know that you can even calculate if you are in NANS, for example, and you started to work, you're gonna work up to 30 years, that is when your retirement is. You can even calculate how much you earn. That will show you how much you will be getting every month, you know, your retirement package, and get to understand where do you fall down at the end of the day to come into depression, disturbing your own kids. You are struggling, telling them, oh, I struggle to take you to school, blah, blah, this and this. Wait a second. Take care of yourself first. Because if you're not well-being, they won't be. So please don't stress them at your retirement age, thinking that you are working for them. They have to work for their retirement. So now if they are working for you, for them, who is going to work for them? So I believe we need even to change our mindset, like mostly we Africans, because you end up like any person who is successful in African community or African family, they're like, you need to take care of your uncle or your auntie or your nephews, whereby they wasted their life. You know, in their 20s, you struggled. In your 30s, you are struggling to come into, you know, even to leave your home country and come get better life, you know, greener pastures. But then at the end of the day, you need to get your hard-earned money and then send it to a person in their 20s, they were partying. And for you, you're struggling, working day and night, and get it comfortably, like throwing it in the dustbin. I'm not saying that don't help your, your family, but have boundaries. When it comes to the journey of success, there's where you need to be selfish sometimes. Till you reach there, trust me, you will find them, you will help them willingly without pressure in your finances. Back to you, David.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. Thank you for that last bit of tonight's show. From wherever you're watching us, look in the description. There's a link. Follow that link to our website. Sign up. There's a 20 minutes video that will give you an explanation of what this digital business that Dorothy has made a living out of. Do your due diligence, watch and see whether this is something that resonates with you. And if it's not, then there's nothing to lose. You can always move on with life. But do take the opportunity, and you thank us later. With those with that, I think, Dorothy, I'll go right ahead and wish everybody a wonderful new week, and say that you can join us again next weekend, Sunday, 2 p.m. PST, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and I think 10 p.m. 10 p.m. GMT
I believe
for our
so.
friends in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, until next time, we'll say bye-bye.
So next time we will have I think we're gonna have a guest, so please don't miss out on next week. Yes, next week we have a guest. I'm just trying to see who is this guest we have. It's gonna be 17th. Yes, 17th we will have a guest. So don't miss every Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. All right. I think that is it for me, David. Bye-bye.
Join us every Sunday for an episode of the Digital Business Forum
at 2 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. MST, 5 p.m. EST, and 10 p.m. GMT.
This forum will feature successful, experienced digital business owners with inspiring information to help you make that informed decision about starting your own digital business. By starting your own online business, you will have more free time to take control of your life, create generational wealth, retire early, and make money from anywhere in the world with just your laptop, phone, and internet. If this resonates with you, don't miss this Sunday.